What's going on, everyone? My name is Nicholas Merton here at DataDash, and today is December 19th of 2017. Well, folks, today it's time for a daily update here on the DataDash channel. Today's going to be relatively small. We don't have too much to talk about, but first and foremost, we're going to be taking a look at some technical price action on the market leaders to see what players are set to move next. Along with that as well, we're going to be taking a look at valuations in cryptocurrencies. And last but not least, we have a few different headlines to go through. First and foremost, Overstock looking to launch a new ICO that they've been planning for the past few years. And if you don't know, Overstock was a very early adopter for Bitcoin payments. They were a small to medium-sized e-commerce website. So we'll be talking about some details in regards to that. I'm going to have a great resource in the description, a great article by Cointelegraph talking about the Bitcoin futures in a very simple format, linked down below, and we'll of course talk about it inside the video. And last but not least, a $240 billion Japanese company going out of its way to allow Bitcoin payments each month for their employees. So a few things to talk about in the video. Let's not wait any further and jump right into it. So first and foremost, we're going to be taking a look at market valuations. As always, as you all know, we have still just been at an absolute rally, but not so much on the end of Bitcoin. Bitcoin's been actually going through a slight correction over these past few days. What we have been seeing, though, is altcoins start to really pick up. And again, the momentum has not slowed down in any regard. So if we go down here, we can really start to see it here on the 7-day. Altcoins have been doing quite well comparative to Bitcoin. There really has not been too much of a correction outside of the fact that, Bitcoin saw a correction, so you're going to see a little bit of a pullback in the actual valuation. Nonetheless, the Bitcoin comparatives are holding quite well. So again, altcoins continuing to gain steam, really starting to catch up on Bitcoin. And now we've actually passed the 50% Bitcoin dominance mark, meaning that Bitcoin holds less than 50% of the market share. That could change very quick though, but I'm estimating that over time, this has kind of been a long-term prediction of mine. Of course, it's just my opinion. I think that Bitcoin will eventually hold around 25% market share once a lot of good formulated altcoin projects come up. Again, there's a lot of crap that needs to be dished out of the market, but a lot of that valuation will not only flow back into Bitcoin, but also really good projects in the long term. So that's what I'm looking for. But again, going back to what I was saying at the beginning, the steam in this market for altcoins is just absolutely phenomenal. You're not going to see days like this all the time, folks. It's definitely a lot of pandemonium for altcoins right now. So markets are looking bullish right now. Bitcoin, however, is taking a little bit of a slow pace over the past few days after making all-time highs again on most exchanges. And as we can see, the moving averages are finally starting to get a little bit of catch up here. They're starting to come back up a little bit closer. Still very far away. The 50-day is extremely distant from where Bitcoin is now. So we might see a little bit of a correction in Bitcoin, and this might not be the bear market that everyone is thinking is going to come with the futures, but it might be enough to really, assume that there's going to be a good correction, maybe another $2,000 or $3,000 in valuation. And I know that might be a cause for concern for some people, but I think it's actually just going to give altcoins a little bit of room to really breathe and continue running. Again, we'll have to see here, though. If Bitcoin starts to really sell off, that's going to be probably bad for altcoins. As we know, when Bitcoin really starts to have fear settle in, you can see, definitely altcoins follow. I think this comes not with futures launching. I think it's more that we're reaching 20,000, which is a very big even, and there's a lot of sell orders as we approach 2,000. As you can see, there's a little bit of a leap there. I can't really zoom in on it, but I will tell you all what to look out for, and it's a very simple indicator. So as you can see here, we have our different moving averages here. These are standard moving averages. They're not just daily moving averages. So I have the 50, 100, and 200 hour. As you all know, those are my favorites. And you don't want to be looking at the 5-minute chart or, the 10-minute or, even the daily, I'd say, is not really relevant right now. What you want to look at right now is the hourly. And I'll tell you why you want to look at the hourly charts here. Because you want to be looking at the 200-hour moving average. So we're going to go back here as we load the price action, back here towards when we were down here at 7,000, or in the 7,000 range. My trading view will load. There we go. So as we can see here, the 200-hour acts as a very strong level of support. It's kind of a last resort for Bitcoin before we start to see, at least partial corrections in the price action. So we can see here that Bitcoin will try to hold on the 50-hour, and once it breaks through these, the last safe protocol for Bitcoin is to land on this 200-hour. And once it breaks through and has a close on the hour below it, you can see we get a correction. And I'll prove it to you as we go through the price here. We can see that over time, Bitcoin has found support at the 200-hour, found support at the 200-hour, found support at the 200-hour, and now we're testing it again. Now, it looks like we're kind of rolling over here, and if we get below there, again, wait to see how the pace picks up, but you're going to want to see if the volume is going to come in like we saw over these past few hours. If that starts to come in, we might start seeing an overall market correction. But I think for now, Altcoins are still looking pretty good. Some are quite overvalued though for the short time being. So let's go ahead here and go down the list here of the market leaders. Ethereum starting to gain steam and getting back over its weekly highs. Go over here to the daily. Now we're back above the 50-day here. Now, what I want to let you all know about this is I said we saw resistance at the 50-day. And what I like to see with these kind of things is, obviously it looks a lot different than over here where we had clear resistance at it and the wicks, or the price action closed below it. If we can get a close above the 50-day and in some way hold above this level, what I think you could see is probably Ethereum continue back up, especially if Bitcoin has a slight pullback and not enough to drag altcoins down. We could see Ethereum come up and see resistance at the 100-day, come back down, find support on the 50-day, and continue higher. Again, altcoins are starting to get a little bit more of a sense of optimism with them, especially as Bitcoin's kind of cooled down. It's given them some room to grow, and people are trying to look to allocate their capital elsewhere. So I think we could see Ethereum go to 5,300,000 Satoshis, just my opinion, but I'm going to be waiting to see that support on the 50-day. And if I can get that, I would definitely consider a trade on Ethereum. All right, so next up, XRP BTC, taking a look at Ripple here. Ripple has been one of the biggest shockers to me with how much it's moved up. It's still holding quite well. It's good to see we got support on the 50-day. It's a question of whether or not you can close above this 200-day. If you can't, I think Ripple's going to go back down to the 50-day or maybe even lower. But if it gets above here, comes back up to the highs and finds support on the 200-day, that's going to be good news for Ripple. I highly doubt it though, because I mean, guys, you've seen this thing just go through a monster rally. This thing has gained a lot of valuation back. So I don't know about that. We'll have to see, but definitely not trading it right now. All right, let's go ahead here and take a look at Bitcoin Cash. I'm actually going to get it not on Bitstamp. Let's get it on Bitfinex. So we get more price action play with. So Bitcoin Cash, I think, had recently good news. I think BitPay actually is launching support for Bitcoin Cash. So because of that, that's giving Bitcoin Cash a little bit of a boost as a possible payment solution. And as we can see here, it's over the 100-day and 50-day. And that's a good sign for Bitcoin Cash. Much like we're seeing with Ethereum, getting over the 50-day, what you want to see is you want to see it come up and find support on this, whereas we saw support in the past. And if it can get that, I think Bitcoin Cash could be good for another few days if we get a correction in Bitcoin. So it'll give it some good room to breathe. And we might be able to get back up above the 15 million Satoshi mark. So just keeping an eye on it. Again, we want to wait for it to get up above and find support on those moving averages. So next up, Litecoin BTC. Litecoin has been doing quite well. It's come back up, back to the highs, and if it can close up above here, we might see a continuation in the rally. I will let you all know, though, I know there's a lot of Litecoin bulls. Not saying, again, I just said it could go higher, but I'm not going to be buying up here, much like I'm not really going to be buying with Ripple unless I really see price strength confirmation or have a reason to buy at these highs. Because, I mean, guys, I buy low, I sell high. It's kind of my trader's perspective. And yeah, I missed out on a few opportunities with these. I wish I would have gotten Litecoin at the lows, but we can all play Captain Hindsight with it. I just don't want to get caught playing up here at the top and then see altcoins tank just as fast as Bitcoin if we do get a serious correction. So, again, not rushing into Litecoin. Next up, we're going to take a look at IOTA. IOTA is doing quite well. I actually bought a trade, as I told you on my previous video. I bought a trade of IOTA practically at the bottom. It was a lucky buy on my end, but I just thought of it as being oversold compared to a lot of the market leaders. It held a lot of its gains over the past few weeks, and now we can obviously see that Litecoin has gotten above the line of resistance, found support on it, and now is starting to bounce off of it. I don't know how fast this price can keep moving and stuff. I think it's going to slow down and probably move more in a steady uptrend, but that's really good price strength confirmation. We're seeing volume come in, and as we can obviously tell, the price is moving quite strong. So what are my kind of levels for this on my trade that I'm in right now? I'm thinking of probably getting somewhere up here above 300,000 to 350,000 Satoshis over the next few days. The momentum's looking good on this. If it keeps up, could do really well over the coming few hours and the next few days. We just need that volume to start coming in. So keep an eye on that. And last but not least, ADA BTC or Cardano, absolutely obliterating it. I have yet to find anything in the market that's been doing this well. And congrats to those who picked up on the discount that Cardano gave. This was, I think, one of the last times you're really going to find Cardano at a drastic discount, unless we get a market correction. This was an awesome opportunity to pick up Cardano, and I know that a lot of people are making good money on Cardano. So congrats to those who are long on the project. Congrats to those who had researched it before everyone started learning about it. Again, Cardano is going to be a good project going into 2018. and well into 2019, in my opinion. So now that we've taken a look at some of the market leaders here, again, real quick, just want to let you all know, I'm not going to be buying ADA up here, but on a correction, maybe to the 50-day. Might do that, but we're gonna have to wait for the 50-day to come catch up. So anyways, enough on the market leaders and stuff. Did a little bit of technical price action today, as always. Next up, we got to talk about Overstock. So Patrick Byrne, who is the CEO and founder of Overstock. Like I said, it's about a small to medium-sized e-commerce website. Has been around for quite some time, and he's been an early supporter of Bitcoin. Well, they're actually going through now, and they're going to launch their ICO, which is T0, okay? So I've been reading a little bit into this, but basically speaking, they're trying to reinvent kind of Wall Street and venture capital for blockchain and a few other things as well. So again, they've been, Patrick as well as the rest of the team out at Overstock have been working on this, I think, as it says, since as far back as 2014. As I said, he's been an early adopter, and they're planning to launch their token sale relatively soon and raise over $250 million through a pre-sale. This is the pre-sale. I don't know how much they're planning to raise in the official one, but that's a lot of capital for a pre-sale. Supposedly what they're aiming to do is something quite big in regards to bringing new capital into developing countries with this new technology and this new supposedly trading platform that's going to allow people to list property that originally wouldn't be able to because they live in countries that are unbanked, and all kinds of different features on top. And he's actually working with partnering with a Peruvian economist and the author of The Mystery of Capital, Hernando de Soto. So they're working on this, and they're actually, I think actually if we go down here, they've already gotten approved. They're one of the only SEC approved platforms. Let me see if I can get it down here. I want to get the official quote as we go down. Yes, we have the only SEC compliant ATS in the world that can trade blockchain instruments, Byrne said. So this is really good. This is going to allow them to basically meet their objective of working in developing countries where there's a lot of locked up capital or assets, and they're going to allow them to trade, at least from what I can tell from the article. And as you can see, they're going to start off with land and property, but in the end, they'll work towards all assets. So this could be very big, and I think, honestly, Byrne's got a pretty decent understanding of working in this field because he's known about blockchain for a while. The fact that they've already worked towards getting all the compliances the compliance set in place to launch a project like this, which is ambitious, I think is, I wouldn't trust anyone else to do something like this. He's been a pretty good early adopter. You can find clips of him talking about Bitcoin years ago, why he accepts it, and he fundamentally understands the difference that blockchain-based projects really bring to the forefront. So I think there's a lot of ambitions with this project. It's still kind of smoke and mirrors right now. No one understands exactly the full objectives of it. But again, you can read through the article, learn a little bit about it. And again, this is going to be a subsidiary of Overstock. So if you can't participate in the token sale, I think it said it's only to accredited investors, so we might not be able to participate unless we have a lot of money. However, I think if you were to own Overstock stock, which they are publicly traded, if you go, we can actually go look it up right now, Overstock stock, it seems kind of like a tongue twister, Overstock stock. You can actually go about purchasing the stock. Now, it has had a nice run up this year, but that has been, of course, one because they accept Bitcoin as a form of payment, even though it's really not much of their payments or a lot of their revenue. But along with that as well, there's been talks about this ICO for a while. So, again, very interesting stuff. Definitely look into it. Next up is not something I'm going to be talking about too much in detail, but I will be leaving down below in the description, and that is a really awesome explanation for Bitcoin futures produced by Cointelegraph. Again, not the biggest fan of Cointelegraph and Coindesk. They put out a lot of bland content, but I will say when they put out the educational stuff, I really appreciate it. And this is a great little article summary if you want to read through about futures, and you can break through these different little column bullet points if you want to go through, or you can just scroll through. It's a really easy read, just gives you a simple explanation. A simple explanation and understanding into the whole futures aspect of Bitcoin. So if you want to learn about that, I'll leave that down in the description and possibly in the comments, and you guys can go about actually reading into that if you want to learn a little bit more and get a brief understanding. I think it's important to have that with everyone FOMOing and fighting over the news of the futures. Next up, a $240 billion Japanese company to pay employees in Bitcoin. So this is from a company called GMO Internet Group. It's a company based in Japan. And I got to say, This is why I don't really like most of the mainstream news outlets for cryptocurrency news, because it's not a $240 billion US dollar company. It's a 240 billion yuan company, in the sense that it's valued in the Japanese currency, which is not as much as dollars. However, big company in Japan, still respectable. As we go through here, they have over 4,000 employees who work under the company. And they're given the option to pay out 100 yen, or $890 worth of monthly Bitcoin in the form of their income. So, I think it's a little bit silly with how expensive fees are, because right now fees are going anywhere from $10 to $30, around $20 to $25. And because of that, I really, to be honest, would not want to get paid in that. But then again, I mean, if you wanted to buy it off Coinbase and stuff, it's going to probably be about the same price. So because of that, I don't think it's the worst. But at the same time, unless Bitcoin keeps moving like it is, I don't know if I'd want to, have to lose that much of my income out of the amount they're paying each month. Nonetheless, not downplaying it. Cool to see that they're offering this, and I know that will attract some employees, because it would be awesome if they could simply set it up for them, get them registered with something, for maybe Bitcoin for a retirement account or something. I don't really know how they're planning to do it, but again, awesome to see that they're offering this, and it could be a really good employee incentive to stay with the company if they have that as a form of payment. And again, it's great to see, people adopting Bitcoin in some form of payment or investment. So that's it for the video, everyone. Thank you all so much for watching. I'd like to hear what you all think down in the comments down below. You guys think that more companies are going to adopt Bitcoin as a form of payment for income? Do you guys are you guys excited to see what Overstock is going to be doing with their new ICO? If you have any extra details that I didn't mention, feel free to leave it down in the comments down below, and I will try to get back to them as soon as possible, or hopefully other people in the community will help talk with you. Anyways, everyone, that's it for the video. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Stay tuned.